We can mention many points why Android is better than iOS. Google's alternative offers more openness, choice, value, versatility, and personalization. So then, what keeps iOS consumers using iPhones and iPads if Android is better? We adore tech, but iOS does some things better than Android. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Let's see. iOS is quicker and smoother. After using both platforms regularly for years, we can say iOS has less issues and delays. iOS frequently outperforms Android. iPhone internals make this ridiculous. The most powerful Apple smartphone, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, has a 6-core CPU and 6 gigs of RAM. Current Android phones have mid-range specs. We get lost in the specs and forget what counts. Powerful specs don't guarantee performance. Processing power goes beyond cores and speed clocks. Apple processors outperform Qualcomm ones. iOS is optimized for Apple's few devices, regardless of processing quality. Android is immersed in smartphones, tablets, and other devices. OEMs optimize software for hardware, yet they sometimes fail. iPhones don't need formidable specs to match high-end Android phones since Apple's closed ecosystem integrates better. Hardware-software optimization is key. Apple can optimize resource utilization because it controls production from the start to finish. Developers must follow a stricter process to deploy apps and don't have to optimize them for an infinite number of devices. Not all iOS devices outperform Android. Android phones with powerful internals perform well. iOS devices are faster and smoother than most Android phones at comparable prices. The $799 iPhone 14 performs nearly as well as the most expensive iPhone. The cheap iPhone SE performs well. iOS is intuitive. What we love about Android can sometimes turn off consumers. Android can be complex even with Android 12, but Google and its partners are improving. Not everyone likes random icon placements, limitless settings, and unlimited customization. Most Android phones have a learning curve due to the manufacturer variants. Apple fans like iOS's simplicity over Android's. iPhone fans don't want a customizable phone. They want a reliable, easy-to-use device that gets them to their content quickly. It just works. Means this. iOS has home pages with rows and columns of icons that you may organize, but no app drawer to hide items. The settings are simple and consistent across Apple mobile devices. iOS is easy to use. Kids who have never used a smartphone learn the basics in 10 minutes. If you have an iOS device, you can use any other and quickly understand it. Updates. iOS updates better than Android. Your iOS device will get the latest update when it launches if it qualifies. Older smartphones may struggle with newer resource-intensive iOS versions. However, only older Apple devices should worry about it. Android updates aren't as easy. Google only upgrades its own products like the Pixel 6 series or Pixel 6a, and even they sometimes fail to get updates. Samsung, Sony, Motorola, and others must receive the update from Google, optimize it for your device, and then distribute it. Carriers often have to go relying on them, which delays upgrades by months or never. The ecosystem. Google has improved its cross-device integration in recent years, making this a tie. iPhones, iPads, Apple TVs, Apple Watches, and Macs are intimately connected with iCloud, iMessage, FaceTime, and other Apple services. Google's competitive services work well, but they're harder to use and less straightforward. Users must search the Google Play Store for several important Google apps. Most tech-savvy people don't think much of this, yet it can be difficult or annoying for somebody. Apple's App Store is better curated and policed than Google's. The App Store's lengthy and costly approval process improves iOS app quality. The Apple App Store is cleaner, has less advertisements, and has nice extras like interviews, guides, better app lists, etc. The walled garden is safe, familiar, and easy to navigate. Security. Google's security updates are more constant, making this topic less one-sided. Google Play Store security has been improved to protect your phones and data. Sandboxing, two-step authentication, Google Play Protect, app permissions, and more are examples. Upgrades and knowledgeable users make Android security rival iOS. The dispute over whether iOS is more secure than Android continues, but Apple still leads. iOS features better updates, a tight ecosystem, and a tougher app store. These factors make attacking iOS users more difficult. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Apple CarPlay wins every time we've tried Android Auto. Apple's alternative organization's icons. Move these icons to prioritize your preferred apps for easy access. The experience is more uniform despite certain changes. Android Auto has abandoned its random UI based on recommendations. It now provides a list of easily accessible apps like Apple CarPlay. Though more complicated, despite using some of the most powerful phones, Android Auto seems to perform poorly. Google Assistant outperforms Siri, but I still prefer Apple's in-car solution. Apple CarPlay is prettier, easier, and more functional. Superior assistance. Apple leads tech support. Apple Care can be expensive, but iOS device claims are easy. You can buy a new device in under an hour at your local Apple store. Whether you like Apple stores or not, numerous companies have tried to mimic their style. The open layouts attracts you. Many staff members can assist with purchases and issues. Apple device classes are free at the stores as well. No corporation is perfect, but if you have an issue with an iOS phone or tablet, it beats the competition. You don't have to go through careers, find strange customer service phone numbers, fill out online forms, send faxes, wait on hold to talk to a robot, or wait weeks for a fix or replacement. Visit an Apple store for excellent customer service. Resale. Apple has a market advantage over most of its mobile competitors, but affordability is not one of its strengths. iPhones, iPads, and other Apple items retain value better than Android gadgets. Apple items sell faster and better due to their popularity. Let's see an example. I bought an iPhone 11 Pro for $1,099 in September 2019. It sells for $350 to $500 today in good conditions. That's 32% to 45% of its initial worth. Now you could get a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus for the same price in August 2019, and today in eBay it sells for $200 to $350. 18 to 32% of the original value, right? But watch out! This Android sample is ideal. Samsung is another brand that retains value better than competitors. Apple outperforms other Android manufacturers in resale value. AirTags. iOS outperformed Android in Bluetooth trackers. These little gadgets can locate items. Like Samsung, Tile, and other businesses have released similar Bluetooth trackers, and some may be superior, but Apple has something no one else can equal. Apple devices have better coverage everywhere. The underlying issue is that all these trackers are restricted tracking devices. Samsung Galaxy Smart Tags are Samsung only. Only app users can find Tile trackers. Only Apple devices can track AirTags. However, Apple devices are so popular that any tracker will undoubtedly be near an iPhone. AirTags work great with iOS. No apps or downloads are needed. Tapping your iPhone on it sets it up quickly. The best part is that AirTags cost a touch more than the competitors, but they're superior and the difference isn't considerable. Contactless payments. Google Pay works fine. However, the app is complicated and rarely pre-installed on Android phones. Google has neglected the service. Apple Pay is most refined contactless payment method, but all operate effectively. It works on Apple iPhones. It works on Apple phones, iPads, and wearables. Banks and credit card businesses, especially smaller ones that skip Google Pay and other options, embrace Apple Pay more. 85% of its US shops accept it. Apple offers a credit card with outstanding features. The Apple Card is iOS only and gives 2% cashback on Apple Pay purchases. Some Apple Card holders will hesitate to switch to Android. Apple does a lot right, but we wish they did other things. That's it for today. So guys, if you find this video valuable, don't hesitate in showing us appreciation by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel.